So this is Lexi. I adopted Lexi about 7 years ago from Sweet Paws. She was my first quote-unquote foster fail. She's one of the reasons I'm not allowed to foster anymore. She's almost 10 years old. She's quite sweet. We love her.
Sweet Paws Rescue, we are a boots-on-the-ground, foster-based, volunteer-run, volunteer-powered dog and cat rescue based here in Groveland, Massachusetts. We combat the overpopulation that exists in the United States, most predominantly in the South. We're also a fantastic resource for local cats and dogs in need. Due to COVID, there are more cats and dogs that need new homes than ever. So in 2005, I had just finished my master's degree and Hurricane Katrina happened, and I didn't have any experience rescuing dogs or cats, and I saw a dog on a roof. So I just bought a one-way ticket to New Orleans, and I ended up staying there for about a month. I came back to Massachusetts and just decided that I wanted to make rescue a part of my life. And I started Sweet Paws in 2011. So I was working both at Northeastern University and running the rescue. About 6 years ago, I decided to make the leap and do rescue full time. So since we've been incorporated, we have saved almost 20,000 cats and dogs, which is pretty extraordinary, being volunteer run and volunteer based. We save about maybe 75 to 150 cats and dogs every month. Pre-COVID, about 90% of our animals came from Mississippi and Alabama, the areas where the overpopulation is profound. And post-COVID, about 43% of our animals are coming from right here in Massachusetts. So our Sweet Paws Rescue Southern team, they are the ones that are fielding the calls from people who are, I know it's awful, but dumping puppies on the side of the road, giving up their animals, moving away and leaving them chained. And the reason why is because where we rescue in Mississippi and Alabama, there are no animal services at all. There's no place where you can bring an unwanted pet, hence the reason that they get dumped on the side of the road or abandoned.
Meeting Sweet Paws and Jeanette and Cynthia, it changed my life because before I met them, I was just walking chained dogs around town, like 30,000 steps a day for 2.5 years by myself, and I didn't know anybody. And so when I met Cynthia and Jeanette, it's like I'd made it. I made it, you know, so I finally had people helping me on my journey.
I got started with Sweet Paws about 11 years ago. I was in rescue in Mississippi and nowhere to send dogs. Cynthia and me became friends, and so I've been sending dogs up here for 10, 11 years, and it's just magical. Our dogs live a fairy tale life up here.
Believe it or not, animals are being dumped up in Massachusetts at a rate that we've never seen before. Local surrenders, local strays have been a big part of our current rescue operations. So an animal control officer will call us and say, this animal hasn't been claimed, the 10-day hold-up is up in 2 days, do you want this dog, cat, dogs? And so we say yes, if it's adoptable, we take it.
In June of 2013, my wife died, and I live on the only house on a dead end off a dead end, so the house got real quiet. I met Sweet Paws at a Groveland days, and I said, gee, I could foster. I got a fenced yard. Our motto is saving people one dog at a time, and it's actually true. Particularly for the elderly, you're very isolated, and having the companionship of an animal makes a huge difference in your life. I personally have fostered 163 dogs until they were adopted, and I also have 3 foster fails. We bonded so much, I figured, I'll keep them. And living alone, I can get away with a lot.
If you are interested in adopting a dog or a cat, you go onto our website, you fill out an online adoption application. Then you are usually in a couple of days connected to an adoption coordinator. And that person's job, always a volunteer, is to work with adopters specifically to help guide them to figure out what's going to be the best animal for them.
So I'm Amy, and I've adopted Bryn from Sweet Paws. My father has been a foster for Sweet Paws about 10 years and found my perfect match. She is such a little snuggler, and it was nice to finally give a home to one of the dogs.
Without our volunteers and our fosters, Sweet Paws doesn't exist. We're foster-based, we're volunteer-powered. So if we don't have those, we can't do what we want to do or what we need to do.
We don't run without volunteers, period. Fosters, volunteers, adoption coordinators, transport drivers, veterinarians, vet techs. It really does take a village. So I always ask people, how many times have you talked to somebody where they would say, if I won the lottery, I'd want to buy a farm and save all the animals? Well, now that's what Sweet Paws is doing. We have signed a purchase and sale for 70 acres in Bradford, Massachusetts. We are going to be starting an animal sanctuary. We will be rescuing different species, so probably donkeys, pigs, sheep, goats, chickens. Additionally, for this piece of property, we're going to be having an off-leash dog area.
We're going to be having a Casa de Cats. Cats are one of the most needed as far as rescue goes in this area. Kittens are easy. Cats tend to sit longer or not get adopted at all. Casa de Cats will be an open concept, open adoption, open living area for Merrimack Valley cats only. If somebody comes and they're hanging out and they fall in love with a cat and want to adopt it, they can adopt that cat. But if not, the cats always will have a safe and loving place to live.
We will also be offering veterinary services as well. We're going to have a vet suite and we're really excited about that. And we'll be offering humane education programming for all of the students in the Merrimack Valley and basically the greater Boston area as well.
So Sweet Paws' tagline is saving people one animal at a time. And to be at pickup day on adoptions and to see somebody waiting outside and when their animal appears through the door, the face, the crying, the laughing, the kids, it's just amazing. We always say that once they're picked up off the side of the road, the animal has entered into the sweet life because there's just so many people working to make sure that this animal is going to have the best life ever.
So last year we celebrated our 10th year and we have saved close to 20,000 animals. The biggest reason why we want to have our animal sanctuary is that Sweet Paws really wants to leave our forever stamp on this world and have a legacy so that when we're all long gone, that the organization will be able to save animals going forward in the future.